Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bongani Shiba of Walk Tall with Shiba. With the return to the podcast, and I'm returning with a guest, a young gentleman who is making moves very silently and very quietly, but big and great ambitious moves within the African continent. Liswati from Nkamanzi. Other people would know him as Dlamini's son, but that is not the title that he is going by right now. I will let him introduce himself a little more, but ladies and gentlemen, please meet Bhekithemba Dlamini. Bhekithemba, hi.
Shiba, hi. Thank you for having me on your podcast. I've taken the time to hear it before. My name is Bhekithemba Dlamini. I'm a 31-year-old man. I am from Nkamanzi, under Chief Gija, who also happens to be my brother.
Well, yeah, so you are in the inner circle.
No. Yeah, I'm in the inner circle in Nkamanzi.
Yeah. All right. Bhekithemba, tell me a little bit about your background, your present ground, and maybe a little bit of your future ground.
Okay, we met in Bahai when I was studying there. When I got to Bahai, this was around 2004.
Right, so for those that do not know, but those that will have seen the poster, Bhekithemba is a former student of mine when I was still a teacher at the Bahai High School. Kubega, Bhekithemba.
Okay, when I got there, I was from an expulsion at St. Mark's High School.
You were expelled?
Yeah, that was actually my second expulsion.
You were expelled at St. Mark's, okay. And where?
Let me start from the beginning. I went to Ladybird Preschool. I had trouble integrating with other kids. I had to leave that school for another one called, I think it was Maranatha. I don't think they both exist now. Before I went for primary at Sydney Williams, successfully completing after 7 years. Went to Evelyn Bering where I did my Form 1, got expelled after that year. Went for St. Mark's Form 2, started Form 3, got expelled, spent the whole year at home.
Oh my goodness.
My father was even in discussions of getting me into the military before sanity prevailed. Had a chance to start again at Bahai in Form 3. I did Form 3, Form 4, Form 5, and then I went on to the University of Botswana to study for a degree specializing in public policy and sustainable development.
It's interesting. Public policy and sustainable development in Botswana. And you went there, you did well? You became part of a SRC there?
When I got to Botswana, it's a very politically active country. I joined the ruling party within the school, and I was the first international student to run for office. Unsuccessfully running for office, but I was involved in opposition.
It sounds to me like something changed just a little bit from that time where you were expelled a couple of times, Bhekithemba, and then now you are running for political office, even though it sounds like you are still a bit of a naughty boy. Anyway, we'll get back to that. What is your present ground?
I'm currently a lecturer, if you like, but I instruct human resources at the Institute of Development Management in Matsapa, IDM.
Nice.
I take students in first year through Introduction to Human Resources, and I also teach them training and development.
Wow.
So before this,
I think I'm inspiring you. I'm an inspirational guy. You became a teacher.
Before that, I was with the African Union Commission in Addis Ababa. I worked as an associate policy analyst in the Bureau of the Chairperson.
Yes, that is a big one. That is a big one. You are working in the African Union headquarters.
Oh yeah, I've met the man many times. I've written some of his speeches.
Wow, and that is quite a beautiful experience, I think, because it gets you to meet lots of different types of cultures and heads of states and so on. What kind of influence do you think it has had on you specifically right now, maybe to also influence your future?
It has one of the greatest thing having that experience. It has propelled me to want to sit on the bigger decision table in Africa. It's a table many Swazis are not aware it exists. I've had an opportunity of meeting and sitting on the summit with Tito Mboweni. Up front, behind us was the president of South Africa. That's how important I felt. I've met President Zuma, I've met President Mbeki, I've met Chief Justice of South Africa, Mogoeng. I've met the former Minister of Foreign Affairs in Kenya. I've met so many high.
It sounds like
people.
So that obviously has kind of changed your profile. Like you say, you want to sit at the big table.
Yes.
Right. So what does your future crown look like?
I am going to be starting my studies at Wits and specializing. I will be pursuing a postgraduate diploma in security studies. I will be focusing on regional and global security to look at international relations in resolving conflict in Africa and internationally. So this is the direction I've chosen.
You're changing the world, Bhekithemba.
I hope so. I hope I will be very effective in my existence.
So, who or what inspires you?
What happened was when I finished in Botswana, I came back to Swaziland. I had a hard time reintegrating the ideas we discussed there and the ideas you find here are two different worlds. But what I did is, because I didn't have a job at the time and no one understood exactly what it is I had studied, I started volunteering my time with Pilani Liswati. Whilst I did that, I worked with my dad, actually. I had promised to, I still help him out sometimes, to work for the charity because it's a voluntary thing. I worked as a partnerships and donor coordinator. I wrote proposals to donors. I had an opportunity to be involved in advocacy and policy advocacy within the government, within the civil society. So I started having the opportunity to meet more influential people, to understand the impact we could have. So as the organization went on, because it's an organization that heavily relies on donors, we started making moves to get on the international space. We were talking to donors in Germany, donors in the Middle East, and we were now, how I came to even meet the African Union people, we were needing volunteers, highly skilled volunteers, to help with some of our programs. Then I got to know of the African Union Youth Volunteer.
But wait, this is a rich CV. And if I had an hour, I would listen to it. But I'm almost halfway through my interview and I want to know what or who inspires you.
Honestly, my father inspires me.
How come?
He is one of the most liberal men I've had. He lets me speak. I speak my mind. I'm a very rebellious person.
Yes.
But he has given me the space to think and feel normal in my ideas and expression.
Oh, nice.
So I think he has really inspired me to dream bigger.
Can you draw one experience, maybe one time you remember where you were not feeling quite sure of yourself and he came through as an inspiration for you and it got you going again?
Tell you what, I believe knowledge is power. When I was a little boy taking me to school, my dad would share some of the work he does. I didn't understand it at the time. But as I grew older, I understood the government more. When I engaged more people, I understood, no, I think I have a different picture. So when I was at my lowest, because I've really had so many low times, he inspired me. He told me, look, you're a very ambitious young man. You have good ideas. Just work harder. All it takes is to work. He's a hard worker himself, I believe.
Brilliant.
So this is what has inspired me. It doesn't really matter what you want, but the more you put on work, you will find results.
You will get it.
Sometimes it's not even what you're looking for. I never even knew the African Union existed. Never imagined I would want to.
Sounds like your dad is a giant dad. All right, Bhekithemba, please tell me if there was one thing that you wish would be removed in the world, if you had the power to remove, just to change one thing in the world to make it better, what would it be?
It would be extreme poverty. It should come to an end, and I will spend the rest of my life working towards that goal.
I've known you since you were 15, and I think you've spoken about. I could have guessed what you would say because I know how you feel about extreme poverty and how it affects you. Okay, if we were to say. You have a chance to advise the people that are listening right now. What would you say? What would you advise people that are feeling low and feeling down? What would you say they can do, or what can they look to get up and walk tall again against all their problems?
I think what I would advise too is to be able to have the ability to be patient with your situation and be able to accept some of your realities.
Okay.
Because
what do you mean by be patient with your situation? I am going through a tough time, and when you say accept my reality, you mean I should accept that I'm going through a tough time?
Let me be honest with you. I'm not a very religious man. I believe in self-strength. Some of the situations we might be stuck on might be permanent. So the least we can do is to make peace with our situation, because every strength we'll have comes from peace inside ourselves. If we are bitter, we might not take decisions that could change our situation because we want instant gratification. But the more patient we are, I've been unemployed for 5 years. I've worked for free in a space where many people would expect to be paid. Today I've sat in very important conferences of the world. I've sat in a meeting with the Secretary of the UN simply because I was patient and I accepted my situation, and I believed with peace and more work I will get to where I want to go. Today I have a clear direction.
You are telling me right now you were unemployed for 5 years.
Yeah.
You accepted that you were unemployed.
Yes.
You were patient with being unemployed.
When my peers were getting promoted.
When your peers were now even becoming promoted, not even employed, but promoted. And you still believed in something.
Yeah.
You believed in what? In the strength, in your strength?
I believed within me something lies. I will see the future. As long as I work towards something, I involve myself in charity. I worked for charity for free. Raising so much money, I had an opportunity to come up with the concept note for the biggest prize. It makes a lot of money for the charity today.
You came up with that plan, that idea.
Yeah, I was sitting with the chairperson. Someone told us this idea and we stole it. This is how the biggest prize came to happen.
It was someone's idea, but you saw an opportunity from it, and then you worked hard at it.
Yeah,
and you happened to help the organization you were volunteering in make a lot of money.
It makes a lot of money to date on that.
But you were not getting paid.
Not even a single cent. We've mobilized so much.
But this patience kept you going. So what is your drive?
My drive, I think I inherited hard work. I believe we all have a purpose. It's within us. There is no divine magic to take us forward. We have to live through life. And we are living it now. There is no day when life will be declared to start. It has already been.
It's already there.
The only thing we're short of is the end of it. So we might as well make something of our lives, even in the worst of situations. And money shouldn't always be the drive. It is also very satisfying to do work and that assists other people who would normally not be in a good position. But when you see them receive good things there, you feel happy. It's motivating and inspiring.
Wow. From what I'm getting from you is that you are talking about just believe that something is going to come for you. Believe that your situation, even it may be permanent, and make peace with it. And then start working towards getting out of that situation. Even if it is not a monetary thing. Of course, this cannot be always practical, right?
I think some people, I'm not as strong. I mean, some people need religion. I'm not completely against it for hope. Some do not, like myself. So it depends. You could look at different avenues. But I believe the more we live to tell ourselves the truth and accept our worst fears to be possible, it helps us take the right decisions to get out of that hole. Because when you admit what you fear the most might come to reality. I once had a wake-up call. It's very small. People take it for granted, but I take it seriously. My worst fear at some point was to lose a girlfriend I really loved. I lost her, and it came true, and I lived through it. So I am the person today because of that experience. Anyone can take it for granted, but it was my worst fear, and it came true, and I lived through it.
All right, with just about 40 seconds to go, I'm going to ask you a very few short questions, and I need just one answers, one word answers. So let's see. Manzini Mbabane? Manzini. All right. Hip hop house?
Hip hop.
Wow. Okay. There is no such thing as. Complete that one for me. There is no such thing as.
There's no such thing as heaven.
There's no such thing as heaven.
No.
All right. And then that, I guess, completes our time because we have 5 seconds. This has been Walk Tall with Shiba. Good day.
All right, thank you.